Howdy folks, and welcome back to my journey through Ramp 2025. Today I'll be tackling the Techbase zone within Ramp. This area has a whopping 62 maps, so I'll be doing this in two parts, otherwise this video would be quite long. This part covers 30 maps. I don't rate these maps by quality because Ramp is a project supposed to be inclusive of newcomers and veterans alike. Rather, I'll give these maps a difficulty rating and a style, which is just an indication of what kind of experience the map offers, whether that be classic, vanilla, or something more bespoke and experimental. These scores are of course my interpretation, and I'm no authority on the matter. If these playthroughs appeal to you, consider subscribing to get updated when I complete and upload the videos for the remaining areas. The Techbase zone was by far the most popular zone for Ramp participants, and it seems that this area is a safe haven for those newer to the mapping scene. So it would be great to see what some of the first-time mappers have come up with. Our first Ramp offering is Techbase 759012 by GarrT. With a modest 50 monsters and 2 secrets, this map sends us straight into the entry foyer of some corrupted facility, where we face off against some light resistance and are treated to some early Doom cute by way of this nice staff break room, complete with microwave. Things begin heating up as we find ourselves a super shotgun and have to contend with a corridor full of hell nobles as we notice this tech base becoming more and more corrupted by hellish architecture. The base quickly gives way to a full hell environ as we push forward, but luckily we're given a plasma rifle to help mitigate the onslaught. A final chamber with a spider mastermind and a dozen or so imp turrets blocks your way to the final switch. I actually found myself getting very light on ammo here and ended up having to smash that blow up heck button. This map was a good way to ease into the Techbase zone with a cruisy 3 for 10 out of difficulty. This map would appeal to classic vanilla Doom fans. Next on the list is the Invasion Begins by AffixedCerebrum. As we push through to the first couple of chambers in this tech base, we find it's a little more spacious than the last, with nice open rooms to maneuver in. If you have keen eyes, you'll start off with a secret super shotgun, which makes clearing the threats in the first half a breeze. AffixedCerebrum does some nice work with light levels throughout, which really enhances the look and feel of the map. The map turns into a key hunt as you find your bearings in this base, and soon you're facing some heavier resistance like Arachnotrons, Revenants and Pain Elementals. A keen eye will reward you with a very helpful BFG before the final area, which throws you in a corrupted courtyard with threats all around. Make good use of your cells here, because once you've cleared this area you're free to leave. This map was about a 3 out of 10 for difficulty, and it was a nicely laid out map which put the favour in Doom Guy's court. This map is classic in style. Afterwards we head into Gargoyle's Verdant Foundry. This map switches things up a little bit as we immediately see some nice UDMF elements by way of 3D floors as we enter this industrial feeling central silo. Gargoyle makes great use of OTEX to decorate this map, and it's advised to take this one a little bit slower as things begin to warm up a little bit despite the upbeat backing track. Our goal is to find several keys hidden throughout, but there's plenty of mid and high tier resistance as you progress, so make sure you arm yourself well and count your shells, or you may find yourself running short to clear away the hostiles. The author makes good use of verticality in this map, and as we reach the upper areas we're rewarded with a plasma rifle and soon after a rocket launcher. But prepare yourself, because once you've picked up all the keys and make your way back to the bottom, you have to contend with some custom enemies, a couple of Psy Bruisers and their many minions. If you manage to overcome this battle, you're rewarded with your freedom. Difficulty was a 6 out of 10 for this map. There were a couple of nasty traps, and the end battle in particular got me a couple of times. This was a custom experience. We're on to HealthInspector next, a map by XelaDaHedgehog, who sets us up in this nice chamber with some water problems, and are equipped with a secret chainsaw right off the bat. We open up to a nice warehouse style room which makes good use of crates and girders along with the ceiling to help sell the scenery. The monsters aren't too dense in this map, but they are well placed to whittle your health down as you try and get close enough to engage them. Push through the cold storage and you'll be taken to this fascinating cave system, which really makes you wonder what kind of facility you've come to inspect, as we're treated to walls of skulls, laser blockades, and rocky mounds covered with demons. Face off against an irate mancubus and you can grab the red skull key, allowing you to push back into the facility proper. These nice glass stasis tubes that pop open when shot were a nice touch. Once you're back in the main building, you can hop, skip and jump your way over to the red door and earn your freedom. This was a 5 out of 10 for difficulty, and the map was nicely designed and gave off a classic look and feel. Next on the roster is an interesting one called Vorsicht Grüne Lava by Grizzly Young Bee. When we enter, we're presented with some welcoming text explaining that this map was made by Grizzly Old Bee's 7-year-old son, who helped him with UDB, but gave him full creative control. And I have to say right off the bat that this was better designed than a lot of maps I've seen made by adults. So well done to Grizzly Young Bee. I know when I was 7 years old, I was too busy picking my nose to even think about building maps. This map is a fun mixture of Techbase and Hellscape and has some rather nice traps, surprises and secrets scattered throughout. GYB makes good use of verticality in this map and has made some great choices with light levels and textures to make this map a great little place to explore. I think this map is a good example of how creative you can be if you haven't been exposed to and guided by years of Doom maps being made in particular ways. While this map wasn't too challenging, it was nice being able to explore and find a way through each area to the exit. 1 out of 10 difficulty for me in this one, and this one had a nice classic feel to it, outside of the HUD message elements at the start. Great work GYB, hope this ends up being a new hobby for you. Next up is Crazy Paving by Surreily and SonicMayne. The authors have opted for a hot start, so we jump right into the fray. This map treats us to some nice red brick and tech blue texture choices throughout, which actually worked quite well together, and I appreciate the time and attention to detail made with the lighting. They also make really good use of micro adjustments to floor height with some small steps up and down throughout, as well as variable ceiling heights and plenty of detail made to the ceiling decoration, which is something a lot of mappers tend to neglect. It's all of these small details that really make this map a real pleasure to navigate through. Our mainstay weapon is the super shotgun as we wander through the halls, even though we're given a rocket launcher, and we face up against quite a few mid to high tier monsters, which are all placed well throughout the map so as to raise your heart rate but not overwhelm you. Once you've pushed through the dangers, behind the red door you can smash the exit button and get through this facility. Difficulty was a 4 out of 10 for me, and this map had a classic feel to it, which seems to be the overwhelming style choice for most tech-based maps so far. And then we come into CafeCaboose's Snowblind. This map caused an immediate shift in tone. We're placed in a dark, abandoned facility and given subdued ambience in lieu of backing music. We come out to a reception area with icicles lining the ceiling. Take a moment to appreciate this beautiful snow effect as it falls gently from the hole above. Absolutely A-tier stuff. We are soon alerted to danger and are given a pistol to deal with the zombie former scientist that was sneaking up behind us. She's easily dispatched with just a couple of bullets, as are just about every other enemy in this map. However, I must warn any players to count every single one of your bullets because you will need every last one. Ammo is very scarce and you may have to make some smart decisions about whether to take down a threat or leave it behind as you navigate through this maze-like complex. I was truly struck by how well considered and well placed every element of this map was, and the environmental storytelling was top notch. A highlight area was the perilous trek topside as you're made to run through freezing environs, skipping from one heated guidance pole to the next for safety. This map was truly a great experience and I can't recommend it enough. It gave me zombie apocalypse mixed with John Carpenter's The Thing vibes. 5 out of 10 for difficulty, and this experience goes under horror for me. Now it's time to enter what I know will be immediately a fan favourite, My Doom Shrunk in the Wash by AnstheRam. You'll get immediate nostalgia vibes as you're thrown into E1M1, but not as you remember it. Everything has been compressed down to bite size, and as you push ahead and hit the exit switch, To your delight, you realise it's not just E1M1, but the entire first episode that the author has included in this miniature monstrosity. Somehow, AnstheRam manages to squeeze all the main map beats and even all the secrets into every one of the Episode 1 maps, and yet compress it down to about 1/8 of the original size. This compact creation manages to remain immediately recognisable throughout the entire set, which is such an impressive feat by the creator, to be able to recreate every environment in a way that triggers your decades-old muscle memory into already knowing what comes next, while making it easily navigable, is truly genius. It's like AnstheRam has just gone through each map and optimized it, cleared out all the unnecessary space and left only the bits that matter. It's so efficient. As we round out the episode and take out the final bosses, we jump through the final teleporter to be left with one final treat by way of these prop monsters. Here you can drop into the side rooms, change up the music or run through the map again, or have a chat with the developer before leaving via the washing machine. Difficulty was 3 out of 10, about what I'd give the original episode 1, and outside the end room, this map is a classic experience. Next we're on to Intern's First Day by Hacksmerian. We begin in an entry foyer with some lovely decorative water features and lounges, and head down a set of stairs to the side room. Hitting the switch in here rewards you generously with a super shotgun, but then immediately punishes you as lights dim and demons pour out of a couple of monster closets. Once we clear them out, we can head down to the other side of the base, into the maintenance room, which is filled with hit scanners, imps and demons. Carry on through here, past a window giving you a brief glimpse of sunlight, and into the final room where more nasty beasts come at you. The map is nearly done now, but if you have a keen eye you might spot a tantalizing secret right next to the end door. Opening it up reveals an invulnerability sphere, but watch out, this is a nasty trap by Hacksmerian, who seems like they're out to punish the greedy. Giving up on this secret, this poor intern can now make for the exit door and leave. Difficulty is 3 out of 10 for this one, and it would appeal to classic Doom enthusiasts. On to Facility Breach by Swifty487. You have to shoot the initial wall to escape your entry box here. I was a little confused by this at the time, but retrospectively I realised this is breaching the facility by an air vent. Once in, we can quickly begin our mission of clearing out this hell-infested facility by use of a shotgun. Keen eyes will quickly pick up a couple of fairly generous secrets in this early area before being sent deeper into the complex, picking up a plasma rifle which allows us to more quickly eradicate the threats thrown at us. Swifty makes good use of standard tech-based textures and obstacles to decorate their rooms. Red key in hand, we can then break through into the final act of the map, where we find a portal to hell itself. Once we clear out the threats in this staging area, we break out into hell proper to wreak havoc on its minions. Difficulty 2 out of 10 for this one. We were well armed to take on all threats. This was a classic style map. No time to rest. We now go to Security Outpost, a map by Riley XY1. Like most Doom outposts, this place has been overrun by Hell's minions, and it's up to you to clear it out. Riley makes use of the standard Doom texture offerings to construct this map, and isn't afraid of making liberal use of height variation both to elevate monsters for a better vantage point and to send Doomguy up to explore. After navigating the interior, we find we need a red key to progress, so we head outside to find the card in question, only to find it kept under guard by 2 Hell Knights. Some quick manoeuvring and ample use of rockets and the dangers neutralised, and we can make our way to the exit room. Face off against one final Guardian Cacodemon and you're home free. Difficulty was a 3 out of 10, and this was a classic map in look and feel. Do Not Tap on the Glass by Kwadracik is the next offering in the tech zone. We're immediately taken into a wide, sprawling, starten textured base and soon find some zombie sergeants to take out. But the reason behind the map's name soon becomes apparent, as they're apparently stuck behind an unbreakable glass wall. This theme continues as we move ahead, even to the point of having presumably invisible glass bridges over lava, causing you to take Indiana Jones-style leaps of faith over pits as you push ahead. This map isn't super long, and I soon found myself at the exit. However, I circled back to see if I could spot anything I missed, and it turns out there are a couple of secrets around which allow you to activate crushers inside the glass display cases to help bump up your kill count. I didn't find all of these secrets, but I got one in which I didn't find all of these secrets, but I got the one which had the largest assortment of monsters in it, and then I left satisfied. This map was a 2 out of 10 difficulty, and it had a fun gimmick to it. I'd class this as a classic style map. Pharaoh's Run by Corbn was next on the list. This map was very nicely filled in with beautiful use of the marble Otex textures and plenty of detail work in all of the rooms. It was immediately apparent Corbn had put lots of time into this map's design. The map had plenty of secrets hidden throughout, most of which could be found by looking for the not quite closed secret doors along the base of the map. The use of dynamic lights throughout, along with the droning, echoey background music, really added to the experience of the exploration through the level. You're sent after several keys scattered throughout a range of very nicely designed chambers, and as you make it through, the threats steadily increase along with your resources. At no point did I feel overwhelmed or under-equipped, but I did have some pressure points there in a couple of areas to raise the heart rate. After making it to the final chamber, you need to take out a duo of Hell Knights blocking access to the exit, and then you're free to leave. Difficulties are 4 out of 10, and this was a UDMF styled map. Heading into the next offering, we have Just Another Wednesday in Hell by IMQ 2006. We start off in a nice cave environment with some nice use of glow accentuating some magma pits, before we head into a steel-lined industrial tech base. The lighting is subdued throughout, and the threat level immediately ramps up as you're sent a duo of revenants to punish you for collecting the shotgun. The scale of this facility becomes apparent as you push further in through zone after zone of ironclad walls, pumping piston chambers and sludge-filled vats in our attempt to escape the facility. The environment in here is beautifully constructed by IMQ 2006, with great use of OTEX and plenty of detail work just to build the aesthetic, and clever use of dynamic lighting and spotlights to really make the downlights and other light sources pop. The pressure keeps up throughout this map, and you'll feel the weight of that 377 monster count as you battle your way through just about all of Doom's roster of monsters in ever-increasing waves. The great use of verticality and remixed room designs keep the map feeling fresh throughout, even though it's on the larger side. As you get towards the end, you open a set of large green doors into a chamber which is clearly setting you up for a boss fight. The room opens up with the Cyber Demon as well as Mancubi and Imps, all set up on high platforms, making infighting impossible, but keep circle strafing and you'll be okay. Grab the blue key as a reward and fight your way through the fresh set of enemies, and you'll finally see daylight again. Difficulty for this map is a 6 out of 10, and this map had UDMF elements. The smaller tech-based maps seem a thing of the past now as we're jumping into running Rampant by the Viper Killer. At least you're well armed from the start with shotgun, super shotgun and chain gun as you're spilled into this overrun facility. You're almost immediately thrown up against Revenants and Hell Knights, as well as a couple of slightly mean hit scanner traps as you explore, keeping the pressure on you at all times. The Viper Killer makes good use of height levels and has made the rooms in their map feel spacious enough to explore, while still small enough that they feel detailed and not sparse. They make use of mostly a vanilla roster of textures throughout their tech base. While on the hunt for switches to release the red key from its prison, we spring yet more traps filled with lower tier monsters and Mancubi, while keeping you in this cramped set of halls. Finally we snatch up the red key and we're punished cruelly for it as the entire map we just cleared is once again filled with Revenants, Hell Knights and Cacodemons. I found running out and getting some height advantage to be a viable strategy for this area, although it was a pretty deadly encounter. Once you've cleaned your plate, you can head towards the red door and mow down a final set of villains, including an archvile, before making your escape. This map was a 6 out of 10 for difficulty. It was classic in style. Small Tech Base by Max is pretty much what it says on the tin. A relatively compact, start and heavy base filled with nasty traps and hostile demons. I liked what Max did with the lighting in the interior section of this map, and their design choices kept this level feeling interesting to explore. You can level up your weapons to a rocket launcher after you've found the red key by finding the door with the rocket arrows pointing at it, but beware what lies within. Just when you think you're making good headway, you head out into a courtyard where a menagerie of hungry pinkies spawn in. You're given a berserk pack to contend with them, but the sheer volume makes this a very tight encounter. After this, you have an Archivile to deal with, and I actually knocked this poor bastard off of his perch when shooting rockets at him, which means he gets to live another day. Hit the switch and you're good to go. Difficulty was 5 out of 10 for this one. It was classic in style. We go onwards now to Symetrica by Leiche, which is another hefty map filled with in excess of 280 demons. The map follows a pattern of sending you to a central square chamber of some sort, and then branching out from that chamber into side passages to progress. The map is very nicely put together with some interesting waggle-enabled floors, good texturing use and interesting shaped rooms, as well as a rather dastardly encounter or two. After we clear out every direction in the initial area, we're then taken to what seems to be a hellish imitation of the first map layout, and we repeat the process, but this time with ever-increasing odds. There seems to be a secret mechanic in this map that has you hunt for 5 switches, but I only found one of them in my playthrough. Once we murder our way through to the last chamber, the sound of hoofs hints at what's in store for you when you press the buttons. Sure enough, you have 2 cyber demons to contend with. I actually found this room easier to deal with if you hit all the switches at once, as the volume of lower tier monsters meant the cyber demons would help clear the room for me and be weakened by their minions at the same time. This map was a 6 out of 10 difficulty for me. There were some tough parts to deal with. It had UDMF elements to it. Ritual in the Server Room by Orca of Mordor is advertised as the author's very first Doom map. For a first map, it's a very worthy addition to Ramp, and we can immediately see that Orca of Mordor was willing to be experimental and try out a range of elements like dynamic lightings and varied texture styles. This map has us explore a wide-ranging tech base, including a warehouse full of crates, a demonic marbled library, and a dark corrupted server room. The enemy choices were mid-tier heavy, but you're given a super shotgun early to contend with that, and before you head into the final area, you're awarded a BFG before being led out into this fascinating chamber filled with ominously lit doors and scattered with absolute excesses of ammunition and health. Clearly this is in preparation of a massive encounter, and once you pop up to the top and hit the switch, you can see what you're preparing for, as all the doors open up and hell's hordes pour out. The room is generous with an invulnerability and plenty of health, so it's no big effort to empty out the room, after which you can head back topside to the library to exit. Difficulty is a 3 out of 10 for this one, and the map is UDMF heavy. We move over now to Nothing Beats an Ace by Cowrocks. This map hands you a custom weapon out the gate by way of this coach gun, which is like a slower but lower spread super shotgun. Cowrocks treats us to some nice Doom cute by way of this enormous couch and a massive TV screen, before sending us out to the facility proper to clear out the area. There are a couple of new custom enemies in this map as well, such as a peculiar fleshy pig dog hybrid equipped with a flamethrower, or these goblin-like pot-bellied creatures which lob miniature green fireballs at you. You're also given an AK-47, which I actually found a little underwhelming, but the creature gun remained my staple weapon throughout most of this, as it was quite punchy. We explore through offices and workrooms and other environs, such as this zombie-filled stairwell to nowhere, before facing off against a quite tight encounter of a cyber demon and a quartet of barons. After taking them out, we're given our freedom. Difficulty was a 5 out of 10 for this. The new weapons and monsters gives this a custom classification. On to Dig Site by Strayce next. I playtested an early version of this and quite enjoyed it, and the final iteration is just as enjoyable. We're sent into a subterranean tech facility that has been overrun by demons as usual, and begin clearing it out. This map is absolutely chock full of multi-layered secrets, sending you on a meandering alternative path or two and giving you bonuses outside of equipment, such as being able to get the drop on some demons who are waiting behind a monster closet to ambush you, making later clearing out of the map less harrowing. Strayce makes solid use of largely classic textures accompanied with good light values and plenty of detail work to round out the experience. You're after several keys to get access to different areas of the map, and once you get behind the yellow carded door, you're able to pick up the yellow skull key and divert the nearby teleporter to send you over to the final area of the map, which seems to be a dug-out hellish tomb. You're ambushed by a sudden influx of barons, revenants and cacodemons, but if you found an earlier secret, you'll be able to pick up a revealed invulnerability and make short work of them. A final encounter with a cyberdemon stands between you and the exit, so burn him down and get the hell out of there. 5 out of 10 on difficulty, and this map kept to the classic elements. Next we jump into Blood and Sand by Marcus Aurelius. We're immediately met with what looks like an ominous looking hell overrun facility, and after picking up some starter gear the struggles begin. For this map I tried running ahead to see if I could pick up some more powerful gear earlier, and let me tell you that was a mistake. The danger level raises exponentially as you dive into this facility and you'll quickly become overwhelmed. My advice is to take it slow and clear out each area as much as you can as it's presented to you. The corruption becomes more and more clear as you dive deeper into this building, as you contend with radioactive slime, spectres and hell nobles, and come across a fleshy growth protruding out of a rock which turns out to be a meat tunnel, taking you all the way over to another area of the facility, filled with caged imps and a spider mastermind. I managed to break this level at one point where a floor rose around the yellow teleporter that I don't think was supposed to. The encounters only build in intensity in the final half of the map, but with perseverance you can claim the red key from behind the corpse of a second spider mastermind to send you to the final chamber, which grants your freedom. Difficulty was a 7 out of 10 for this one, and this map stuck to the classics. Ash for Ash presents us with another average beginner Ash map, the title of which I thought undersold Ash's efforts a bit, as this was a nicely made little run through a very corrupted tech base. There was plenty of attention made to the detail work in each of the rooms, and the map progression flowed nicely. You're sent on a mission for keys in this map and taken through some interesting environments to get them. Some of the encounters were a little bit dicey with mid-tier monsters thrown at you in fairly tight areas, but at no point did I think it felt unfair or unbalanced. The game varies between Techbase and fiery hellscapes a few times as you push through, and Ash has us retrace our steps back through previously cleared areas, but kindly throws some more threats our way to keep the looping back interesting. The map ends in a showdown between you and an Archvile, as well as a sneaky final Baron before letting you loose. 5 out of 10 difficulty for this one, classic in look and feel. On to Breaks Over by Sean Shoes. This map starts us in our dormitory and gives us time to breathe and explore the nicely detailed tech-based facility Sean has built without throwing any dangers our way, causing us to question the 140 monster count listed on our HUD. Once we're satisfied everything's in order, we can head down to the portal chamber and jump through to hell to get back to work clearing out one small slice. After we've handily killed 24 of hell's finest imps, we head back to our base for some R&R, but on arrival something is clearly wrong. Turns out hell has decided to return the favour and is breaking out all over our facility. Our once pristine tech base is now corrupted, destroyed or tainted, and we have to neutralise this threat before it breaks out to the world at large. Sean uses mostly vanilla textures and effects in this map, but manages to keep it feeling fresh and beautifully detailed. The encounters in this map are nicely measured and there's always something interesting to look at. The final encounter happens when we head outside to the rocky canyon the facility is built in, and we find out the demons have made it out this far as well. So we get to work clearing out a plethora of mid-tier demons supplemented by a cyber demon before heading on to greener pastures. Difficulty is a 5 out of 10 for this map, and it stayed true to classic Doom elements. Black Gold by Merrick is a very nicely constructed tech-based map with some bite to it. Merrick clearly spent hours on this map working on detailing and map flow because it's visually excellent to explore and very comfortable to progress through. We start by breaching this facility from the surface and blast our way deeper into the tech base with a generously provided super shotgun. Ammo gets tight around the second quarter of this map and you're forced to be conservative and explore for more resources as you continue your push. After finding an outer courtyard, we're restocked and refreshed and can head into the final half of the map. which really ups the ante in terms of challenge by throwing an almost micro-slaughter worthy amount of Barons, Hell Knights and Cacodemons at you, while Revenants and Imps launch projectiles from their platforms above. Observant players may notice a piece of missing railing in the first area of the oil refinery, where if you're brave enough to jump down, you can grab an invulnerability which takes the edge off this encounter. Push through a side storage area filled with archviles and arachnotrons, and you can circle back around to face off against the Cyber Demon. I actually ran out of ammo at this point, so rather than run back and hunt for more, I gave the beastie the slip and ran for the exit. Difficulty was a 7 for this one, mostly because I didn't manage my ammo properly. This map stayed true to the classics. Lightspeed Rampion by Dr. J PhD is a surprisingly small tech-based map in spite of its 151 monster count. It's a densely packed facility which starts you out exploring several cubic container rooms which arm you with weapons, then test your mettle against an increasingly dangerous amount of demons that teleport in. Dr. J uses stark lighting gradients to give wonderful contrast to these colourful Otex accentuated rooms, before sending you outside to a rocky courtyard to do battle with some tougher mobs. After clearing the next chamber, you're presented with what must be the namesake of this map, a very powerfully accelerating conveyor belt. As you're flung down this corridor, one wall opens up, revealing that just about all of the rest of the monsters are packed behind it. But before we deal with them, we head back into the first area, where a couple of pesky archviles are reviving all of our hard work. Put them to rest before heading back to clear out the remaining monsters. Then you can open the final room, which gives you one final test against Barons and Mancubi before letting you leave. Difficulty was a 5 out of 10 for this map, and this map mostly used classic elements, except for that conveyor belt which may have some more advanced mapping elements to it. In the Realm of Death Walking Terror by Aaron Russell Bautel opens up in a dimly lit corridor where the UDMF style colouring and dynamic lighting effects are immediately apparent. But before that, we can head into a secret behind us for some nice fireworks. Pushing back into the map, we find a subdued, eerie set of hallways before coming across a platforming challenge, sending us far deeper into this corrupted facility. The monster count and types are quite restrained for much of this map, until we come across a custom shadowy Slenderman-esque archvile variant. While its attacks hit instantly, it's not too damaging and we're able to overwhelm it with our own arsenal. The spooky side of this map done, we're treated to a bonus map by Aaron. This sends us into a medieval castle courtyard which sends us on a key hunt through several side chambers, dealing with cacodemons and spawning in arachnotrons, and having to swim through a rapidly rising pool to claim our keys. After felling a duo of revenants and breaching the red door, we make one final leap to the exit. This map was a nice twofer, although overall it wasn't too brutal at a 4 to 10 difficulty. It made use of custom elements. Onto KCirc S96's tech base at the reservoir. This map started us outside of a canyon base, and immediately we find some custom sprite swaps giving us these interesting animated syringes in place of health bonuses, as well as alternatives for other pickups throughout the map. KCirc S96 seems to be experimenting nicely with UDMF, as we're taken through this multi-tiered base with multiple 3D floors, which must have taken some time to piece together. I soon came across a massive lake, but found trying to jump in it just damages you and sends you back topside. However, there was one secret that I found, which teleported me up to a ledge, where I was able to rescue this dapper-looking secret lizard. The map progresses smoothly, and we soon find our way up to a landing area here, where we find a secret BFG, and we blast our way through the remaining threats before making our escape. This map was a 4 out of 10 difficulty for me and made use of some nice custom elements. Next we have Eternal Tech Base by Jacob K. Wantui. This fun little tech base threw a few surprises at me. It starts quite normal, sending you through a rather standard looking vanilla Doom textured tech base with logical progression of finding keys, hitting switches, dealing with traps and killing monsters with your shotgun. The map feels vaguely familiar as you play through it. It feels very loosely based on the E1M1 map. There's even a nice little side secret in this nukage room which feels like it was inspired by the E1M1 secret passage in a similar spot. We get to the end of this map and head through the exit door ready to leave, but then we're back to the start. But things are a little bit off. So on you go again to clear out this map. It's filled with tougher monsters this time, and you're given a super shotgun to compensate. You make it to the end once again, and the music has cut out now. The base is dark and abandoned. Some doors are stuck, others are blocked. A switch is sinking into the floor. Things don't feel quite right. Through again for the 4th iteration, and now we are in a full hell-based territory. Threat level is high and a rocket launcher is provided. Get through the end, and, well, our 5th iteration is full E1M1. We push through this space hunting switches in all the traditional secret spaces before getting to the end, and, well, the map name's beginning to make sense now. Finally, we return to the original Techbase again, but it's closing up shop behind you as you head through it. Finally, we get to the end, and we're done. This was a great map which threw me through a loop, so to speak. Difficulty 4 out of 10, it was a custom experience. The author of this and the author of the futuristic map Deja Vu by Sergeant Shivers should have a go of each other's maps, because I got a lot of similar vibes here between the two. It's time to get the blood pumping with a very hot start to a map by Diamond Centipede called 200 Bands. This starts you off in a nicely lit, classic textured fire blue rimmed room, which also happens to be full of nasties. As long as you're quick on your feet, you can arm yourself and take this mob out without too much trouble, but you're then sent further into the tech base where you contend with an uncomfortable amount of cagademons and pain elementals, followed by a troop of hell knights. This is pretty much the theme for this map. Diamond Centipede sends worrying amounts of monsters your way and then equips you to deal with them. Speaking of, next up is a duo of cyber demons and a gaggle of revenants. Luckily there's a secret here which quickly evens the playing field with an invulnerability. Take out the minions so you can focus on the big guys after it runs out, and you'll be okay. Get used to the sound of the plasma rifle because you'll be using it a lot from here on out. Our next chamber releases archvile ladders followed closely by revenants, before we get to the final area which holds even more archvile menaces. This map almost breaches micro-slaughter territory just by volume of high-tier monsters in each area, but it was surprisingly manageable overall. 6 out of 10 for difficulty, and this was classic in style. Our final offering for this video is Faded Darkness by Immersi. The author of this map has gone for mood overall. We're presented with a fully desaturated grayscale map in a warped, haunted tech-based environment. We're made to explore this creepy base and find some keys, and then head deeper into the facility, all while contending with a nearly fully stealth variant monster roster, many of which are placed in a way that you bump into them before they notice you. I'd recommend taking this map slow and feeling out each room as you head on, because it can get a little bit rough in some areas if you're not prepared. Ammo is scarce, so make sure you're conservative too. After hitting several switches and evading monsters, you'll come across a very disorienting, flashing mirror room filled with threats. Once again, take your time here and use your map to your advantage to help you through it. You pass through some silent zones and are made to defy gravity to hit some final switches, and eventually you can make it to the final encounter, which is quite rough, but can be managed by finding the secret BFG. Hit the switch and you've earned your freedom. A nicely unsettling experience, 6 out of 10 for difficulty, and UDMF heavy. This concludes part 1 of the Tech Zone. Keep your eyes peeled for part 2 in the coming days. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. It's been a fantastic witnessing all the creativity on display by this community. If you've stumbled on this video and are interested in playing these maps for yourself, I fully encourage you to download Ramp 2025 and see what some of the community has put together. Thanks for watching.